Allow me, please, to welcome everyone who's coming in to our general session. We are truly, truly honored and excited to see you here. We're grateful that you took the time out of your schedule to come and learn how you can increase the quality of your life, even increase the longevity of your life by removing burnout so you can experience more bliss. And who doesn't want to experience bliss? Who here wants to experience some bliss? Let me see you raise your hands. Yay, awesome, awesome. Thank you. For those of you who are able to turn your camera on, we invite you to do so. We'd love to see your faces. I'll tell you, this masterclass is a little bit different than maybe some other masterclasses you've been on. We love to see your faces. We love to interact, and we love to hear from you, as you already have seen. And so we're just ending the VIP hour. To the VIPs who joined us, we're transitioning to our general session. And if you would please drop in the chat, yes, Georgette, yay, because we had a phenomenal time. We'll talk about that in a minute, but if you can please drop in the chat where you're joining us from, we would love to recognize you. North Carolina. We have people East Coast, West Coast, the middle of the country. Awesome, Louisiana. I'm up here on the East Coast in Delaware. It's really cold today. Georgia. We have some friends in the room, some colleagues. Dr. Tubi is here from Arizona. We just spent some great days with her. So grateful to have you. We have New Orleans, Maryland. I know Dr. Kazia is here from Georgia now, West Florida. We're grateful that you're here. All right, all right. So, Las Vegas, Completely Cold is from Las Vegas. I'm going to call you all out if you don't put it in there, but I'm going to call you out in a way that says, I know you and I know where you're from, okay? So love that each and every one of you. Oh, thank you, Dr. Tubi. We know that you're in a workshop. We know, I think you might even be presenting, but I'm glad you popped in for a moment. We know you can't stay. But we're here to have a good time. We're here to have fun. We're here in spite of what life throws at us. Who can testify? Anybody can testify? Put yes in the chat if you can testify that you're here no matter what stresses come today from what life throws at us. We're here to learn how to deal with all of the challenges, all of the stress, all of the burnout, all of the exhaustion, so that we can get rid of it and get to the harmony, get to the joy, get to the bliss, get to the peace. Who's with me? If you are, put a fire emoji in the chat, because we are ready to face everything that life has for us. We are built for tough times. Somebody put in the chat, built. I know what that means when you put built in the chat, because we are built for tough times, and we're not going to let the burnout. There you go. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Kibo. Thank you, Georgette. Sandra, I see you're from Louisiana. Awesome. Yes, we are going to overcome. This is about overcoming. This is about learning the techniques that take us beyond the challenges. So we're not just, helpless and down and out. Now, would we have some moments when we're overcome with things? Yes, but it's the set up for the comeback, right? When things are so difficult and we can barely keep going, we're built for perseverance. That's right, Georgette. You already know. Charlotte, we are built. iPhone user, we're glad you're here, and we are built. And do you know why I want you to put built? Because I wanted to bring out the point that we are built. We are created. We are created by the Creator. We're built hardwired in a certain way to face everything that life's going to throw at us. Who's excited this morning? Because I know I am, and I can't wait to hear everything that Anissa is going to share with us. So, we haven't even gotten started yet. Let me tell you guys, let me tell you, ladies, we love talk back church style interaction here. If you've ever been to church and you ever heard the pastor say, talk to your neighbor next to you, touch your neighbor and say it's going to be okay. If you ever been to a place where people want to connect, that's us. You're in the right place if that's you. So we do the same type of interaction here. It's how we get through, right? It's how we pull our energies together and overcome. So at the bottom of your screen, of your Zoom dashboard, you're going to see a chat button. Just click on that if you want to send a message. Next to it is the react button. That's where you'll find the hearts and the fire emojis and the applause, the clap, everything. All the things are right there. So there's a reason that we're telling you this. Now, how many of you know that, Jess, we're grateful you're here. We get it. We understand. We are all doing it, and we're giving you tools today to help you not get into burnout when you have to multitask, right? So thank you so much. So how many of you know that if you take notes with your pen and your paper, that you will remember a lot of the information you learn? Yes? We've all heard that in school. Our teachers have said it to us, and we want to honor our teachers for that. But how many of you know what percentage of information you retain when you take notes, pen and paper? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Take a guess. Let's see what you think. And for those of you in VIP, you've gotten that before. Let's see if somebody else might venture a good guess. 45, okay, 45%. Not bad, that's pretty good. Let's take one more. Who wants to venture a guess as to how much information you remember when you take notes? Nobody else? Come on, this is a fun, safe environment. We could, it's not right or wrong. 62, okay. Well, 20%, Georgette, that's right on the money. Research has shown us, Gina, 50%. Okay, research has shown us that when we take notes, we retain about 20 to 25%. I know when I realized that, I was quite surprised because that's how we were learned. That's how we were taught to learn and retain information. But there's another way that gets us closer to some of the numbers I saw in here, the 50%, the 62%, and so on. Well, it's even higher. It's 80%. Who would like to retain 80% of the information you hear today and elsewhere? If that's you, put in the chat what you think creates that recall. Like, what do you do to remember 80% of the information? Teach. Now, that's a really interesting point, Gina. Yes, when you teach, you're getting involved with it. You listen. Teaching helps. Yeah, teaching does help. But there's something else, and it's something else we can do right now. It's called engagement. Engagement, just by being engaged with the information, you're absorbing it in a different kind of way. You're using different parts of your brain and your mind and your body, right? And yes, for those of you saying, and Georgette, yes, engagement. There you go. Excellent. And so once you're engaged and then you remember, then you can teach it. Then you can teach it after that. But let's get you learning it first, absorbing it, remembering it. So engagement will ask you to put your hand up, your digital hand or your physical hand, and give us some feedback, give us some takeaways, tell us what you think. There'll be places later on for questions. So feel free to engage, not just to create community in this chat, but for your own benefit, because you'll be able to remember all the things that we're sharing with you. Okay? I am excited about this group. I'm excited about what we're about to hear very soon. And so be prepared to receive and then be able to give back. So how many of you ever wake up feeling tired? I know I do sometimes. You ever wake up feeling tired? Yes, I see some nods. Yeah. And you might wonder why that is. Have you ever felt so drained and overwhelmed, no matter how much rest you get or how hard you try to focus? You're always grabbing snacks. You're grabbing that next cup of coffee just to get through the day. If that's you, type me in the chat because we have something for you today. Yes, Sandra, you're always tired. Yes, Jane, Jess, I get it. Yes, we are living such hectic, busy lives. We have to show up for everybody, and sometimes everybody except ourselves. We're going to fix that today, too. And coming up later in the next hour is where you'll hear a very simple system that will help you to remove all of that tiredness that you're feeling. How many of you would like that? Yes, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be giving that to you coming up in the next hour. So we're going to hear very shortly from an amazing host of this program, Miss Anissa Womack. You all are here because of her. I'm Dr. Michelle. I'm here because of her as well, supporting, co-hosting with her. But she is going to be the one to bring you the amazing information today. So who in here would like to wake up each morning feeling energized, with a clear mind, and ready to take the day with purpose because you feel amazing? If that's you, let's see you put an amen in the chat this time. Amen. I know that's me. I'm actually going to type amen in the chat. Excellent. Let's go, Dr. Tubi says. We are so ready. Okay. So today presenting to us is Miss Anissa Womack. She's a board certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. She specializes in functional medicine and burnout recovery coaching. She has spent a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to earn her degrees and her certifications and her expertise. She has a master's degree in nursing and brings over a decade of healthcare experience to the clients that she serves. She's a beautiful woman of faith, creator of the Balance and Bliss experience, and she integrates functional lifestyle practices and faith-based principles. Why is she doing this? For the sole purpose to help people overcome chronic stress, burnout, and to empower each and every one of us to live intentionally and to live our true purposeful lives. And to do so without medications and other conventional therapies. So Anissa is passionate about advocating about health naturally. She shares her personal journey. She doesn't hold back. She's very vulnerable and transparent in sharing so that she can inspire others. And when she's not working, she loves spending time with her family, attending church, and exploring new hobbies. So please, everyone, let's get excited right now and help me welcome Miss Anissa Womack.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle, for that warm and beautiful welcome. I'm just so happy to be here with all of you, and I just can't say enough how I appreciate you guys coming and giving up a little bit of your time to be with me today, but I promise it's going to be worth it because I'm going to give you a lot of value today. So I'm just curious, how many of you here know me personally? Like maybe know me from church or, we're related, or maybe you've seen me online, we connected on social media. If that's you, put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many people know me here. And then maybe some of you are here because you were invited by a friend or a coworker and you felt like, some of this information might have resonated with you. And so you just got on because you wanted to see what this was about. And if that's you, put a 2 in the chat because I want to know who you are as well. So I'm just here. I want to start by sharing my story with you guys. And I want to ask, is that okay if I share with you guys a little bit about my story and why we're here? If that's okay, I want you to put some yeses in the chat. I'm not going to share until I see some yeses. All right. So, as Dr. Michelle said, my name is Anissa Womack. What many people know about me is that I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner and I've helped thousands, well, not thousands, I've helped hundreds of clients in their health journey. And so I just have a passion for what I do. You know, this this road that I'm on, it wasn't a road that I put myself on. God really gave me, the guidance to do this. So like I was saying, I'm very passionate about my own journey. Um, a few years ago, I started on this journey and it led me to where I am right now. I've started on this journey, I've lost 70 pounds. I'm not on any medications, and I became certified in functional medicine. And so I'm in awe, really, like truly, when I think about how God has blessed me to touch so many lives, to help people who are struggling and didn't have someone that would truly hold them by the hand and just help them through what they were going through, somebody who would just listen. And so, you know, through my experience, I went back and I got my certification in functional medicine, and that's where I am now. But the thing that most people don't know about me is the journey that it took me to get here, because it wasn't always this way. There was a time when I was going to school, I was working, I was trying to do all the things, and I just got burnt out. And at the time, I didn't know that I was burnt out. But I was experiencing all of these symptoms, and I would go back and forth to the doctor, and they would just give me medication after medication. And so it got to the point where I was like checked out at work. Like I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't feeling like it was my passion anymore. And at home, like the housework was piling up, and I just didn't have the energy to put forth effort to even take care of that. And so I'm taking these medicines and I'm like, I'm not getting better. And so I just got to the point where I'm like, I can't take this anymore. Like, I need a way out of this because I don't know where I'm going next from here, but I can't take this anymore. And so that's when I went back to the doctor and he told me, he said, we're going to have to do an emergency admittance to the mental health hospital. And I thought, me? A mental health hospital? Like, what are you saying to me right now? Because I'm a wife, I'm a nurse, I'm a full-time student. Like, how is this happening right now? And how do I need to go to a mental health hospital? And so that's what happened. I was admitted to the mental health hospital. And while I was in there, I had time to really focus on myself and try to get my life together and wonder, like, is this what it's going to be like? So I started working on myself while I was in there. And when I got out, I immediately started looking for solutions because I knew that where I was at, it wasn't the solution that I was looking for. It didn't align with my values and where I saw my life going. So I reached out, I got me a health coach that I invested in. And then I got a spiritual counselor, and they helped me kind of pick up the pieces and come up with, a plan for when I was experiencing that stress so I wouldn't end up, on even more medications or back in the hospital again. And so little by little, I started implementing the things that these wonderful individuals were telling me to do. And so I started taking better care of my health, and in all of that, I ended up coming out of that dark place. And so it just brings me so much joy because I really saw the impact that our lifestyle can have on our mental health, on our physical health. And so because of that experience, I said, I want to bring this to the individuals that I work with. Like, I know that a lot of individuals are struggling. A lot of them are just trying to hold on and they're given these medications and they don't know what to do next. They're, instead of giving a plan, they're given a pill. And so I didn't want that to be the type of provider that I was. And so because of that, I created a system that will help other individuals, just like it helped me when we're in that dark place and we don't have an outlet and we don't know what to do. And we're looking for a plan. We're looking for somebody to give us the next steps, to walk with us. And we're not just looking for a pill. So that's what happened. I created this system and I love this system. I love how it's helped people. And I'm just so thankful for the opportunity that God has given me and then being here with you all to share this today. So that is why I do what I do today. And I love what I do. And that's why we're here today, because I want to help some other people get set free the way I was. I've been set free. Before when I was, going to the hospital and even before that, when I was going back and forth to the doctor and I didn't have any answers, I was stuck in like a broke mindset at that time. I was like broke minded. I thought that the doctors knew best. I thought that, this was just how it was going to be. I was going to have to take these medications because that's what the doctor said to do. And so I didn't really wake up until after I got with, like I said, a health coach and a spiritual counselor that empowered me and let me know, like, look, this is my birthright to have good health. I don't have to be bogged down with all these medications that are going to give me all these side effects. And then also, I have the power inside of me to make that change. I'm already changed. I just had to tap into that power and then use that to guide me and make the necessary changes in order to take back control of my health. And we all can do that today. So I want to ask you guys, hearing my story, who wants to be woke Nisa and who wants to be broke Nisa? If you want to be woke Nisa, I want you guys right now to put the word woke in the chat. Yes, yes. We're about to get woke right now.
So good, so good. Oh my goodness. Who wants to be woke? She said. She asked. I know I do. How many of you are already sensing that you might have been in that place where you were like Anissa, broke-minded with your health? Yes, I see you, Jess, and I see you. So let's get some feedback. Gina, I see you. How many of you would like to put your digital hand up? Let's get some takeaways. What impacted you from the story that you heard, from the contrast between the broke-minded Nisa, and the woke Nisa? We can take you as soon as you put your digital hand up, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, your feedback. Jess, yes, go ahead and unmute. Let's hear your thoughts.
Thank you all. This is amazing already. Anissa, I really relate to a feeling of like it's almost like a web of like disempowerment, like health issues, and then coming from a place of like disempowerment in the mind, and then like desperately wanting to like jump out of the web. Like it feels like I feel like that place, and I'm like in and out of there still. Like it feels like a nightmare because you're like, the state that I'm in is not okay. And I don't know how to get out. And I also don't trust a lot of people's advice because like I've done a lot of like traditional, like I like tried like neuroscientists, like psychologists, like white coat doctors. I tried all that, and after a while you just stop trusting them, so you're like boxed in this like disempowered state. But it is really weird and confusing because like when I started to learn about self-healing, a lot of it is very instinctual, but it's like in a state of disempowerment, we feel so incapable of being able to take very simple action. Like it's so weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like yeah, it's like a crazy state of mind. So I just really related to that. And it's beautiful that you found your power. So I will stay tuned about how you did that.
Awesome, Jess. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks
Great
for being
points. We get paralyzed, we feel disempowered, we stay in that broke-mindedness, right? Broke is not just about money, it's about our ability to be awake and aware of all the things around us that we have autonomy over and power over in our lives. So yes, stay tuned. The system is coming up. We'll be bringing that to you shortly. Who else has a takeaway? Anything about Anissa's story that impacted you, that created an aha moment for you?
You got something else?
I do.
Okay, Jane, yes, let's hear from you.
Oh, mm. When I heard you say you lost 70 pounds, what inspires me so much is you learned lessons and then you started coming up with a plan for yourself. The next thing I wanted to ask you is, who did you have to become to lose 70 pounds? Like, like the mental side of this, like what kind of characteristics did you have to start working on to get to this place? You are amazing. I love it so much, first and foremost. So thank you. But I'm ready to know the secrets. I want to be woke.
Yes, thank you, Jane. Appreciate you so much. Stay tuned. The secrets will be revealed, and you will know the answer to your question about how she became who she became. What is she using? Did she use? Can you use? It's all coming up. So thank you, Jane. Gina, I saw your hand. There you are. There you are. Yes, you can unmute.
Yeah, it's actually pronounced as Jenna.
Jenna, my
I was just
apologies.
gonna, no, no problem. I was just gonna comment on how beautiful it is that what our biggest challenges are become our gift to the world. The ability to transmute the darkness into light is just amazing. So you're awesome, Anissa.
Oh my goodness, how powerful. I had to write that in the chat. Thank you, Jenna. Did I say that right? Jenna,
Yes.
thank you so much. Listen, our biggest challenges become an important part of our story that's not for us, but it's for everybody else. And so we give it back to the world. Thank you for knowing that and being here so much. Okay. Um, Anissa, why don't I send it back to you and you can continue on? We'll have another moment for you sharing your takeaways. And so we'll be happy to come back to you. And again, anyone who can turn your camera on, we invite you to do so.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful takeaways. And yes, Jane, hold on tight. I'm going to get to that for you, okay? So, what I'm going to talk about right now is just chronic stress. So a recent survey that was done said that the number one reason that individuals go to see their primary care doctor these days is due to the physical and mental symptoms of stress. And so as a population, I was just thinking about how we have become so stressed and so overworked over the last several years. We're worn out, we're overworked, we're overwhelmed now more than ever. So I want to pose a question to you guys. How many of you would give anything to just wake up in the morning and feel excited about your day again? Like, how many of you are tired and frustrated of going to work and rushing to get everywhere you have to go every day? Who here is ready to feel empowered, to feel like they can slow down and actually take their lunch break instead of working at their desk, trying to meet deadlines and all these heavy demands of someone else. What if you could just come home and have a clean house with all of your chores done and then be able to sit down and enjoy a meal with your family? How many of you would actually love to have a restful sleep at night again? And then how many of you would give anything, just to experience that for even just one day? If those questions, really hit home for you, I want you to say me in the chat. Let me know, like, how many of you resonate with that? Then I'm going to share a statistic from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. It says that 83% of US workers are suffering from stress on a daily basis. So most of the population right now is struggling and they need help and they need answers. So I'm going to share with you a story. Bear with me, guys. Technology. Okay. Meet Janice, the model employee who seems to have it all together. Everyone relies on Janice because she's always willing to help and she consistently goes above and beyond for those around her. Yet underneath this polished exterior, Janice is struggling more than anyone realizes. Her day starts early and the stress begins before she even steps foot into the office. She faces a desk overflowing with tasks, a calendar crammed with meetings, and an inbox that never seems to go empty. She skips breakfast like always and dives straight into her work, barely managing to grab a lunch break at her desk while keeping herself fueled with coffee throughout the day. Recently, she's noticed some frustrating changes in her body. She's been steadily gaining weight no matter how mindful she is. And her skin is constantly breaking out, despite every expensive routine she has tried for her skincare. Her digestion has also become unpredictable. She suffers from days of constipation that leave her feeling bloated and sluggish, only to have days where she's frequently rushing to the restroom, which are also draining her focus and energy even more. She's been prescribed antidepressants, hoping they will help her to cope, but they don't seem to be making that much of a difference. The pills sit on her bedside as a constant reminder of her struggle. Yet, though she feels nothing is changing, the weight of it all, mental and emotionally, feels like it's getting even heavier. By the end of each day, Janice is emotionally and physically drained. She fights through rush hour traffic, only to face more responsibilities at home. Dinner, helping the kids with homework, and trying to manage this messy house. Too tired to cook, she often resorts to ordering takeout as she sits on the couch to unwind, scrolling through social media and feeling even more inadequate by all of her friends and family posting their wins in life. At night, her mind races with thoughts of unfinished tasks from today and tomorrow's demands that wait for her. She drifts off into sleep, but it's restless sleep, and she wakes up multiple times throughout the night. And when her alarm finally sounds, she's already feeling exhausted. But she gets up, gets to work early, and fakes that smile because she's caught up in a vicious cycle that she feels powerless to escape. Wow. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm still working out this technology.
You're on mute, Doc. You're on mute, Dr. Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry. As we think about this experience with Janice, how many of you not only saw yourself in the story of Janice, but you have felt completely hopeless, like there's no way to get out of this because you have to do all the things that's upon you. If that's you, let me see you show a hand. I know I have. I've been there, Charlotte. I see you. And what we're learning today is that you are not alone. I'd like you to go ahead and put Yana, Y-A-N-A, in the chat because you know you are not alone. Burnout is something we think we have to do and keep staying in that state of exhaustion because it makes us feel like we have superpowers. It makes us feel like we're that strong woman that society needs, that our family needs, right? It's the picture of the woman with the S on her chest or the man with the S on his chest. And it's a very real phenomena that our bodies can sometimes crash as well as our minds can sometimes crash. So I loved that you shared that story with us, Anissa, because it helps us to see ourselves in somebody else's experience. So anybody felt something that really caused you to say, you know what? No more. This is it. I want to make a change from all of the chronic stress and strain I experience. If that's you, let me take maybe one takeaway right now, and then we'll continue on. Okay, Jane, yes.
On this video, poor Janice, first of all. I mean, how I just, whew, she made me realize that things do have to get more organized, like that whole vibe of her not wanting to get up after the alarm goes off. That is me. I love hitting the snooze. I mean, if they had a snooze challenge on YouTube, I would win. Um, so, just the simple fact that not only did she not want to get up, by the time she got home, she didn't want to do anything good for herself. Nothing. She didn't even want, I mean, well, I shouldn't say she didn't want to, but it was like there was no way she could fit self-care in there. So as I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out like, how can you even how can you change your mind to take care of yourself better? That's what it is.
Yes. Thank you for those thoughts of reflection. How many of you realized that not only you, or you're not alone with this, but Janice is too, was operating in a broke mindset around your health and well-being? And if that's you, if you've come to the realization of what that identity is like for you, and you want to change that, and again, no longer be like Janice, and you want to be in that Anissa woke mindset, now is the time to hear some more about how you can make that happen. So Anissa, I turn it back to you.
Maybe. So yeah, Janice, just like many of us, was operating from a place of chronic stress. With everything she was going through, she was trying to keep it together, even though she was headed towards a place of burnout. And so now imagine when you hear the word burnout, what comes to mind? Maybe you think of the emotional toll that it takes on you, the mental exhaustion, the racing thoughts that keep you up at night. Or maybe you just think about being on edge all the time and feeling nervous. We all know the two familiar mental and emotional signs of burnout and chronic stress. But most people, when they're experiencing this place of burnout or chronic stress, they might do some stress reduction exercises. They may go to talk therapy. They may even try medications, which all works for some people and it's all good and important. But have you ever stopped to consider the physical signs of burnout? What goes on in our bodies? Do you ever recall feeling that nervous pit in your stomach or the headaches, the unpredictable digestive issues, running back to the bathroom? Or what about like the stubborn weight gain that you can't seem to get around no matter, how many calories you count or whatever you implement? Or maybe you've had some skin issues. Have you ever stopped to think about that? There's a hidden connection between our physical symptoms and our mental symptoms when we're dealing with chronic stress and burnout. And that's because burnout isn't just in our minds, but it's in our gut. So I pause right there because I want you guys to really think about what I just said. I said burnout isn't just in our minds, it's in our gut. And I know for most of you here, or some of you here, this might be the first time you're hearing this and you're like, what does my gut have to do with chronic stress or burnout? Like, what are you saying right now? But I want you to get prepared to really listen to what I'm about to tell you guys and share with you. And then let your mind be awakened. We're not going to stay in that broke mindset anymore. We're about to go into the woke mindset. So let your mind be awakened to an entirely new way of thinking about chronic stress and burnout. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Michelle again so we can see if anybody has any takeaways to that.
I don't know if that really resonated with everyone the way it did for me. I had to put it in the chat. When you think about burnout, you're thinking how tired you are, right? Yes, we're thinking how exhausted and all the things we just saw in the video, all the things we're juggling every day. And our minds are just burdened by all the responsibilities and emotional stresses of life and physical stresses and all the things. But it's in my gut. Like, what does that mean? I can't wait to hear you break down that link for us some more. So anybody else who did that impact, that burnout is not just in your mind, but it's in your gut. Like when you said that, what came up for me was, when I am at my worst state of exhaustion, I there is a reaction in my gut. I don't want to eat. For some, they want to eat and they eat everything. Who here has a thought about how did that impact you? Yes, Charlotte, I can attest to that. Jess, anybody wants to come on and give a takeaway from that? That connection, Jess, you can come on, is very profound. And I'm excited to hear what that link is all about because I know I can feel it in my gut, but I never connected it before. Yes, Jess.
So I'm actually in another group with Anissa and it's nutrition related. And something that I've really put together while like trying to, sorry, I'm getting work notifications. So that sound is something I've noticed with myself is so I for a long time have been wanting to eat healthier, wanting to treat myself in the way that I believe the creator, the Most High, wants me to treat myself. But there's been this like blockage for me. And there's like definitely a correlation between low vibration foods and like low vibration things I want to put in my body that are very toxic. So that could be like over caffeinating, binge eating on processed food, and like very, very dirty food, like, stuff that has like a shelf life of like way, way, way too long, um, or fast food. And there's a correlation I have noticed for myself where I feel like I don't know, this is going to sound kind of dark, but I'll be like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know why I'm here. I feel like I'm in survival mode and I can't stop putting these things in my body. So it's like I'm putting low vibration things in my body when I'm having very low vibration thoughts. And then I'm getting more and more discouraged because I'm having increased constipation, I'm gaining weight. And then on top of that, we're trying to show up in society. So, like, I actually got so burnt out from this cycle that I said, I can't even work in an office. That's why I work from home, because trying to manage putting on the smile when you around other people so that you can make money to survive while also having this whole cycle going on between like toxic gut and toxic mind. Like, it's just wild. It's all consuming. um so yeah, that's been my observation, is low vibration thoughts and then cravings for really low vibration things.
Yes, yes, Jess. Thank you again for sharing those thoughts. We celebrate you for coming out with your reflection and vulnerabilities around something that's not often spoken about, right? And the whole gut mind connection, it makes me ask the question, well, what comes first? Is it the chicken or the egg? Is it the gut or the burnout? Is it the burnout, then the gut? Is it together? So Anissa can shed some light, help us out. Let's hear what that is all about.
Well, I'm going to answer that real quick. It's both. Both come together, and I'm about to tell you why in just a moment. So if you wouldn't mind helping me to share the gut brain connection and up on the screen, and I'm going to give you guys a visualization of what I'm going to bring you guys through. No, the gut brain connection.
I might need to have you share that one.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, never mind. It decided to open.
Okay.
So bear with us here. Here it comes.
Awesome. So today we're going to dive right into the gut brain connection and what it is so we can better be able to manage our stress. You could go to the next slide.
Yes, I'm trying to have it cooperate with me. 1 second. There we go.
So I know some of you guys are thinking, like, what does the gut have to do with my mental health? What does it have to do with burnout or stress? Well, have you guys ever experienced any of these symptoms? You know, maybe you had the brain fog or fatigue, maybe you experienced some irritability or anxiousness. And then what about some other symptoms that are more physical? Like maybe you've experienced some bloating or you develop these new food sensitivities. Like think back to a time where maybe you were eating all the dairy or all the breads, and then all of a sudden you developed a sensitivity to where you would get really sick or feel really ill whenever you ate any of these things. Or maybe you're just having frequent trips to the restroom. And then also maybe you're experiencing some stomach pain. Like I said, it could be related to some of those food sensitivities. So, what is gut health, anyways? So, gut health refers to the entire health of our digestive system as a whole. So, it's whether or not it's functioning properly as it should, whether or not it has all the components inside of it that it should. We have bacteria and organisms, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that are located directly inside of our digestive system, and they have an important and unique job to do. So, when we are putting the things in our bodies that help us to thrive, that's when we will achieve that good gut health. Okay. So your microbiome. Your microbiome is located inside of the gut. It's your gut microbiome. It's built up of these organisms that I was talking about a few minutes ago. We have bacteria, we have fungi, we have viruses, and even sometimes parasites. Sometimes the parasites are good parasites that just kind of reside in there and don't really cause us any illness. And sometimes these parasites can really be fighting with us for our own nutrients. And those are the ones that really cause a problem in our digestive system. But overall, we're supposed to have all of these different microorganisms inside of our gut. So don't be alarmed. We have like 100 trillion of these microorganisms that reside inside of our gut. And like I said, they have an important job, and we actually wouldn't be able to function if we lose any of them. So, what I really want to focus on right now is the fact that we have good bacteria and then we have opportunistic bacteria. And so, the good bacteria, it thrives off of the things that we eat in our diets every day. And so, what we want to do is feed that good bacteria more often than we feed the opportunistic bacteria. Because if we keep the good bacteria going high and keeping it populating our bodies, then that way it'll keep all the other microorganisms at bay. And if it doesn't, that's when we start seeing illness and disease in our bodies. So I just want you to know that, the gut is more powerful than you think. So our gut health is responsible for our mental health, our sleep, our hormones, our skin, our weight. It all plays a role in our entire body, our entire system, and our overall health. So this is something very interesting to know. Scientists can tell what you have going on the outside by looking at your inside. So they can take a report of your microbiome and be able to look at it, analyze it, and they can tell if you have skin conditions. They can tell if you're struggling with anxiety, depression, chronic stress. They can tell if you're having trouble sleeping, and even if you have some hormones that are off balance, all without ever seeing you. And that explains how powerful our gut health is and our makeup of our gut. And also, I just want to note that nobody's gut microbiome is the same. Everybody's gut microbiome is 99.9% different. So, whatever works for one person with their gut health may not work for the next person. So, we always want to take a personalized approach to, really treating our own gut health and refueling that bacteria with the things that are going to help our bodies thrive. So now I'm going to talk to you about the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the reason why our gut and our brain are connected. The vagus nerve, it runs throughout our entire body. It's the largest nerve in the body. And so it starts with our central nervous system, which is our brain and our spinal cord, and it runs all the way through our colon. And inside of our gut, we have the enteric nervous system. So it connects the enteric nervous system to our central nervous system. And in that way, our brains and our guts talk to each other all day long. They're in open communication, like two friends talking to each other. They send signals. And so if you're going through a lot of stress, worrying every day, have a lot on your mind, You might notice that you have a nervous stomach or you feel nauseous. Like some people say, like I had that nervous stomach or like a gut feeling. That is because our brains and our guts are directly connected. And then also, I want to say about the vagus nerve is that it is in control of regulating our nervous system. And I'm going to tell you why that's important as well. So, our nervous system, it controls whether or not we're in a state of fight or flight, whether we're really anxious, and it also controls whether or not we're relaxed and we go into like a state of digestion and relaxation. So I want you to think about your nervous system like a smartphone, and it has two modes. The first mode is, your fight or flight mode. And then the second mode is your rest and digest mode. When you're in that fight or flight mode, think about your phone going full blast, notifications going off, people calling you, blowing your phone up. Maybe you're on your phone so long that it starts to overheat. Compare that to our nervous system. When we're in the fight or flight mode, maybe we're experiencing like some tiredness, some anxiety, a heightened state. And in that state, just like our phone overheats, our body begins to experience inflammation. And then the second mode, which is the rest and digest mode, think of that as when your phone is on do not disturb, or you're powering it down to energy saver mode, or you might be cycling it off. Just like that, our bodies, when we're in that rest and digest mode, we're getting ready to power down. We're going to sleep. We're letting our bodies do what they do best,
Oh
which
no,
is
what's wrong? My phone, my computer not charging.
we're allowing our bodies to heal in that time. And so we're going back to a state of calm where our bodies can then repair itself and do all the things that it needs to do to keep us healthy and thriving. So that's the way I want you to look at those two things. So it's important to know, like I said, our brains, they affect our gut. It only takes 2 hours of stress to have a major impact on your gut health. When you're stressed, even for 2 hours, inflammation inside of your gut. And during this time, it creates a hostile environment where our good bacteria can't thrive, and then we're not functioning at our optimal level. So there's three major causes of poor gut health, which are inflammation, lack of diversity in our food choices, and meal timing. So it's important to know that our lifestyle can either positively impact or negatively impact our gut health, and it can lead to inflammation. So when we are having high processed meals, consuming substances like alcohol, too much caffeine, things like that, it actually creates a disruption in our gut. It leads to inflammation. And also, like I said before, having those times of mental and emotional stress that actually causes inflammation in our bodies too. So what we want to do is, slow down and try to implement practices that really release that stress and give us that anti-inflammatory response to that inflammatory response that we are taking in on an everyday basis. And then a big thing that we have to worry about is antibiotics. Antibiotics are the number one destroyer of both our good and bad bacteria. And so I know we often take antibiotics because, maybe we have some type of illness and, we go to a doctor and we need these antibiotics. They're there for a reason, especially in, an environment where you may not make it if you don't take these antibiotics. But what I just want to tell you is, even if you are saying, hey, I haven't had antibiotics in a while, it's been a few years maybe since I had antibiotics. What I want you to think about is the antibiotics in your food. So I put a list here of antibiotics that are commonly injected into the cattle. So if you're a big meat eater, what you really want to be mindful of is that there's hormones, there's antibiotics, there's all these different substances that are created in our food, and that directly causes inflammation in our bodies. So one quick tip I want to give you is that if you're going to continue to eat meat and you love meat, that's your thing, I want you to consider looking for hormone-free, grass-fed meat that doesn't have any steroids or added substances to it that would disrupt your microbiome. And so here we have two individuals. One is, drained out on coffee, and then the other is sleeping peacefully. Our gut actually produces melatonin naturally. So a lot of us, we might be running looking for a solution to go to sleep. We might be on sleeping pills or even getting something over the counter. If we take care of our gut and reduce that inflammation, our body will naturally produce the melatonin that we need to get a good night's sleep. And so then also we want to focus on having an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, and that can help us improve our gut. So what that looks like is, a diet built off diversity of nutrients, fiber-rich foods, good quality probiotics and prebiotics. The probiotics are what repair our gut lining with the inflammation, and the prebiotics is what feeds the probiotics. So think about things like fruits and vegetables, garlic, and other seasonings like that. Those are good prebiotics that would feed the probiotics. Probiotics are like fermented foods, kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir. Those are good probiotics for us. Okay. And then that's just a recap on some of the things that cause us poor gut health. And then also here we have, I'm just showing you like some of the things that are in the microbiome. It's very diverse, like I said before. So we want to make sure it's recommended that we get at least 20 to 30 different types of fruits and vegetables in our nutrition each day. So you think like, how could I possibly do that? Because that would be a lot of eating fruits and vegetables. And I know, especially like in today's day and age, we're moving fast. We don't really slow down and do that. So the way that we can do that is by using supplemental nutrition. You want to try to make smoothies and shakes and use some real organic and natural ingredient power foods that can help replenish all those nutrients that you need and really help your microbiome thrive. And so this is just a recap. This is usually what we eat on a daily basis, donut, all these things, they're inflammatory to the gut because they're loaded with ingredients that half of us can't pronounce. And it's toxic to the gut. The body doesn't recognize it. It's not real food. So we want to have more diversity. So I just included some examples of what's not diverse and what's very diverse. And then the other thing is we're constantly eating. So this is where the meal timing matters. If we're constantly eating over and over, like we're snacking, because we're stressed, that actually doesn't allow the body to get in a state where it can rest and start digesting our food. Remember, that state is where the body does the healing. So whatever bacteria that we've been exposed to that's not supposed to be there, maybe we're around somebody who had a cold or even something more serious, our bodies will start to try to expel that and take care of us, because 70 to 80% of our immune system is inside of our gut. So it's directly responsible for us staying in good health. But when we continue to eat, it actually disrupts that. And so this is just a picture of a stomach crying, because the stomach is our hardest worker. We're always working it whenever we don't, time out our meals and we're constantly eating. And so this is just to reiterate how the body works. It's supposed to reduce inflammation. It's supposed to get rid of toxins and get back in balance. But whenever we're constantly eating, it puts digestion at the forefront because our digestive system, it has to digest. That food has to go somewhere. It can't stay. It can't stay there or cause us a lot of problems. So it prioritizes digestion. And so the other thing that happens whenever we don't do adequate meal spacing is that we go on what's called a blood sugar roller coaster. So this is an example of what the blood sugar roller coaster is. Say it's early in the morning, you get some coffee or energy drink that's high in sugar. That's going to cause a spike in your blood sugar. And so then obviously you need to get that into your cells. So this blood sugar that's floating around in your system, insulin is going to be released. It's going to spike rapidly. It's going to help the blood sugar get into your cells for energy and for use. And then after a while, you're going to have a crash, and that's called the sugar crash. You might be irritable or what they call hangry, might be angry, have fluctuations in your mood, and then you're going to crave more sugar. So it's a vicious cycle. But the one thing that I want to point out to you on this slide is look at what happens in your body when you take in that high sugar or the processed foods. It increases our serotonin, our dopamine, our endorphins, and that's just a bunch of, medical terms to say you're going to feel good. So it's not just, you're grabbing that because, you don't have the willpower. You're grabbing it because you're stressed and your body is wanting to go towards comfort. And these natural endorphins and neurotransmitters are actually going to be produced, and it's going to make you feel good for a short amount of time. So like I was saying, stress eating is directly related to having unbalanced blood sugar. We typically consume all of these high fat, high carb food-like substances because it's not real food. It's a lot of chemicals that are in a lot of these things, and it disrupts our gut. And so the downside to doing all of the like when you're stress eating and eating all the processed foods is that you're not only causing inflammation in your body, but you're making it hard to heal at whatever ailment that you have. And so that leads to how we can overcome stress eating. We want to really focus on balancing our blood sugar and living an anti-inflammatory life. So in order to really regulate our blood sugar, what we want to do is we want to practice meal spacing, like I said before. We want to increase our fiber intake. We want to really start doing some low impact exercises. And I just want to point out, we don't want to do too high of an impact exercise because that causes stress on our bodies. When we're in this state, we kind of want to take it easy, maybe a walk or some light weightlifting. And then that is all. So that is my lesson on how the gut brain is connected.
Thank you so much. That was such great information, and some connections would probably have been made. So let's get some takeaways from you. I know Jane has already put in some thoughts in the chat. Jane has been stress eating and didn't consider it, didn't even realize where that's coming from or what happens to the body. I know one thing you said, Anissa, is the stomach has to work, right?
Mhm.
Digestion has to happen. And so it's exhausted, probably more than we are. And so we finally, Georgette, she says, thank you. It's all connected, right? It's all connected now, and we can make sense of the choices we're making and the impact that it's having in our lives. So let's go ahead and get some takeaways from our wonderful crew here today. Johanna says, wonderful explanation. Go ahead and put your digital hand up. Let's just hear from you. Just a few thoughts. We are truly blessed to be in this room with this information. It cost Anissa 6 figures or close to it with all her education and certifications and coaching and systems. And we're getting it today for free. And those who were in VIP hour, you're getting it for $47 and you already got that. And here it's just more goodness piled up on goodness, piled up on goodness. Who's excited that you don't have to pay $100,000 for this information and we're getting it here today free? And this has actually given away the system, the information, the connecting the dots for us so that we can be more empowered to live a blissful life. So Jane, yeah, let's hear what your thoughts are.
I had absolutely no idea that I was eating to make myself feel good.
Oh my goodness.
Like it just was not, it just did not connect.
Yeah.
I thought initially that I was eating because I was hungry. And then I didn't recognize that the choices that I was making were choices to make me feel good, not to nourish me. It made me feel good to just have those French fries.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, oh, well, this is all right. I can eat this, but nowhere near considering how it's affecting my entire day or even how I sleep and why I love sleep so much.
Mm.
Because
Wow, Jane.
nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. So I'm
Mm.
ready to be woke, Nisa.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. How about woke Jane, right? Woke Jane.
Yay!
So exciting that we have these life transformational moments in a setting like this, where we're understanding what we put in our mouth, how it affects the body, how it affects our mood, our health, not just our mental, emotional health, but our gut health. This is priceless. It really, really is. So, Jane, thank you. So good. So, so good. The information you just shared. Charlotte said, I've had gut issues for several years. So this is very helpful information for me. Thank you so much, Anissa. And Letitia said, thank you, Anissa. So yes, I'm glad that you're getting value in here, that the information is beginning to connect in a powerful way. Let's continue on because I know that there is a little bit more powerful information that we'll get, and then we'll have the full picture of the system that changed Anissa's life to where she's now completely woke Nisa.
All right, thank you for all the takeaways. So if you don't mind, I want to go back. I want to visit Janice's story. I know y'all remember Janice from the beginning. We saw her video, what she was going through, when she was headed towards burnout. So I'm going to tell you what happened, after she got some help. Now, Janice's name has been changed. I'm sharing this story with permission. Her demographics are changed to protect her privacy. So Janice was a 41-year-old woman who came to me. She had moderate depression, anxiety. She reported she was having panic attacks 1 to 2 times a week when I first saw her. She had gained 31 pounds in 6 months due to stress eating and everything that came, with the inflammation that was in her body. But when she came to me, she had gone to her primary care provider and he had told her she had PCOS, irritable bowel syndrome, cystic acne, depression, and anxiety. And he had put her on a medication called Prozac for anxiety and depression. So when she came to me, she was having complaints about the medication and she was like, I want to get off of this medication. She didn't like the way it made her feel. She said it made her feel like a zombie. And so prior to working with each other, she had tried all these different diets. Keto was one of the biggest diets she had tried. For those of you who don't know keto, it's eating a bunch of meat. a lot of meat and dairy and cheeses. So when she came to me and she had been on keto for a couple years, and she was trying some other things to really help her lose the weight. And so she had even talked to her primary care provider about starting on Ozempic. So I just started doing it by doing a food sensitivity test on her. And then that food sensitivity test, it uncovered things that she's highly sensitive to in her gut, things that she shouldn't be eating until her gut has time to heal. It didn't necessarily mean she couldn't reincorporate it, but she needed to allow her gut lining to heal and get that good bacteria going again. So these were the results from her test. It came back that wheat, dairy, and corn were highly reactive, and these food sensitivities were contributing to her symptoms. Additionally, the 31-pound weight gain and the PCOS that she said her doctor diagnosed her with let me know that she was having problems regulating her insulin and her blood sugar levels, because those two are directly related to weight gain. Okay, and then also following that keto diet. So that was big because she has so many nutrient deficiencies from just eating a particular amount of food. You remember I told you guys earlier, the gut needs a diverse types of food, especially fruits and vegetables. And she was hardly getting any fruit at all and little vegetables while on that keto diet. So it made it challenging for her to really reduce that inflammation she was experiencing. And then also, what we did was we started with some dietary adjustments. And so I had her kind of change what she was eating at the time. She incorporated some breath work and some other lifestyle techniques like walking. And what she began to notice was that her sleep had improved. Her acne was starting to go down. And then she told me she was so excited. She lost 7 pounds within the first 5 weeks of working together, just from making those small changes to the things that she was eating. And so I just want to say like how important the impact of our gut health is. And Janice is one, testimony to that, to how the power of, really getting in, examining what's going on in your gut and really making those changes help reduce that inflammation and can really make a major impact in our lives without just resorting to medications. And so the last thing I want to say, because, her story sounds great and everything, but she had a lapse where she went back and she was eating more wheat. And during that time, a lot of her anxiety came back that had once kind of subsided. And so she noticed and she just said, I'm going to have to stop eating this now because I know that this truly, that was her wake up call of the true power that, healing her gut had on her health. So.
Wow.
And
So
I would just love to put in a couple of words as well. That explanation was really spot on because I myself eat inflammatory foods before bedtime, and it causes me acid reflux and all sorts of issues during the night because I'm still digesting. And then the next morning, I'm all tired and it's a bit rough on me throughout the day. And that can definitely affect mental health and how stressed out you are.
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Johanna. Appreciate that feedback. That was so good because a lot of us on here, in addition to caring about our health, we are also entrepreneurial and we do a lot of work for ourselves. Some of us, like Jess, we work at home for others. So we are constantly pushing the time that we are engaged with work. And when we're awake, working, the body is a little confused and we want to eat something. So we reach for something fast and convenient that's inflammatory in nature, right, Johanna? That's what you're describing. And then
Yep.
we have this perpetual cycle. So now not only are we burnt out and tired, but we have the wrong foods in our body late at night when we should be sleeping, but the digestion is still working. Wokeness, so do you see what you have caused here? We're starting to make all these connections. And
Come
so
on, it's time to wake up.
it's time to wake up. And have you ever noticed, how many of you have ever noticed that when you're awake at night, very late, when you should be sleeping, your whole rhythm is off, your whole cycle is off of your sleep-wake cycle, right? and you feel hungry. In the middle of the night, people are hungry. Is that true or is that true? That's because the body is confused. It's like, okay, he's awake, she's awake, so she must need fuel and to keep going. And so we eat and we eat the wrong things and we get into trouble and we're in this perpetual cycle of burnout, not even realizing that our gut is a major contributor of that burnout. When I realized it was not just a side effect of burnout, but a contributor of burnout, I think that was really an awakening, truly awakening for me. So anybody else, any thoughts so far about all the goodness, all the goodness that Anissa has shared? I want to say goodies and goodness at the same time, so.
Mhm.
Yes, Jess.
I have a question, kind of an advice question. So something that I struggle with is like, I have a hard time telling myself that I'm worth investing in. And I think that that kind of keeps me in this like low vibrational cycle. Like, for example, like, so for me, I have a weird relationship with my family, and I'm also single because I've had weird relationships in dating. So I've basically decided like I need to be financially independent. But because of that, I like it's really difficult for me to save money. And well, this is at least the narrative that I'm telling myself right now. And so what I want to do is invest in making mental and lifestyle changes because I realize that that's crucial to become woke to my own power. And um I guess I'm wondering like when you're in a low vibration place and you're scared to invest in yourself because the whole world is telling you to basically live in fear and that like you're supposed to save money and not invest in yourself now, like how do you weigh that? Because like I feel like there's this very fear-based part of me that is like you don't deserve to like get help, or like you don't deserve to buy the expensive herbs that are going to fix your digestion, or like you don't deserve, you know, to invest in coaching or something. And so when you know that you're not woke and you know that you need help either from professionals or from herbs, what is the right way to talk to yourself? Like what is the right way to like change the script to say like you are worth investing in, and like what is the point of saving money if you're living in a really painful disempowered way anyway? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's a great question, and thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing that. I've experienced that myself as well. I think one of the important ways to kind of shift that, you know, it's mindset. And so as humans, like we have two big things that, you know, we're worried about. They're fears, like fear of not being enough and fear of failure. And so one of the things that you mentioned just now was, you know, when people say, or when people, you know, bring that to your attention. The thing is, we have to move away from what people are saying because they're not seeing our life from our lens. They can only see it from their lens. And we know what's best for ourselves. Even if we have that fear of failure and that we're not good enough, we have to start shifting that mindset to knowing that we are good enough and we are powerful. And so I want you to think about when you feel that way, what is this costing me by staying in this place that I'm in? Is this costing me my life right now? You know? And so by thinking about it in that way, we can really take that shift to come out of that place because we don't have to stay there. Get in a room where you have like-minded individuals who are on the same journey, same path as you are. The more you get away from those people that you were just talking about, who don't really take their health serious and then try to bring you down. And you get in rooms with people who are not only wanting to see transformation themselves, but want you to transform. That's when that community happens. And that's when you start to transform your life and know why I'm doing this and why I'm so powerful and why I can overcome and why I can have that life that I desire. So I would say start with the mindset aspect. And it's about loving ourselves. That's what it is. We have to love ourselves first. Because once we love ourselves, we'll be able to better take care of ourselves. And that's what I had to do because I didn't love myself when I was broke minded. When I was woke minded, I was awakened to the true beauty of myself, who the creator said I am, and all that is powerful and all that I can do and accomplish. So I know that was kind of a long answer, but that's what I would say to you. That's where I would start.
Do you think, thank you so much. Do you think that just like the most important thing to say to ourselves is like, we are worth investing in, even if it's scary and even if like our programming tells us not to? Because
Yes,
it's really like a lot of fear-based programming. So, and so do you think that's the best place to start is just to shift the narrative and say like, I don't care what it takes. Like I'm going to put investing in myself and my health first.
absolutely. Do it scared.
Yeah,
There's never going to be
absolutely.
a good time. Yes.
Really. And I'm loving that you're bringing up these questions, Jess. They're so important. And thank you for your vulnerability. Do it scared. Do it now. Now, let me answer this again with this concept of two levels of belief, right? So, belief, we can believe in our fear or we can believe in the faith that we
Mhm.
have. Either one of those that we choose requires a belief around it. And a really great teacher who I have great admiration for taught on this topic and says that we tend to put a frame around things that we call facts, whatever is factual to us, that whether it's the programming or whether it's we are to have a certain frame around information, it becomes our focus, right? And so the fact that you're focusing on has a positive and a negative aspect. And if you focus on the positive aspect of the fact, it makes you happy. But if you focus on the negative aspect of the fact, it makes you sad, brings you down.
Mhm.
So focus manufactures another belief. So belief has positive and negative aspects. So the positive aspect of belief is faith. And the negative aspect of belief is doubt or fear. Okay. So when you're holding on to whatever it is that keeps you in fear and fear leads to a certain response that can paralyze you as well as the chronic stresses you experience. So faith and doubt are both beliefs. So you decide which one of those will get you to from where you are to where you want to go. Which one of those will help you to shift your experience so you can get more out of life? So faith, doubt, beliefs, and here's the thing, belief travels into your heart and it manufactures a feeling. And people do things for one reason. Anybody know what that is? People do things because they feel like it. You'll go eat that thing because you feel like it. You'll go buy that bag, that shoe, that thing because you feel like it. Okay. So when we think about procrastination, what might be happening when we hear information and we're like, wow, that's really good. That sounds great. I know that I should be doing that, but I don't know if to invest in myself, or I don't know if to make a change in my diet, or I don't know, we're dealing with those two beliefs. It's doubt and fear, or it's faith. And then we're also the feeling that comes in our heart. Like I said, belief travels into our heart and manufactures a feeling. And when the feeling in our heart is for something that we're looking forward to, it's anticipation. So anticipation is the energy that we get when the outcome is desirable. Anticipation overrides a lot of the things that we experience. But listen, when we have the feeling that we're uncertain about the outcome, we have a lot of fear built up around it, then that feeling becomes anxiety. So doubt creates anxiety. So why should we waste today's energy worrying about tomorrow's problems, worrying about something that may not even be a reality, but we make it so? So this is not just an answer for Jess, this is for all of us to really embrace the thought that we choose to believe in something one way or the other. And that anxiety really is a waste of good energy. So if you hear some information, but you find yourself being slow to move, or there's procrastination, examine what that is. It's probably doubt-based or fear-based, because it's leading to anxiety as opposed to anticipation. If you know what you're going to do is going to produce the results you want and you're excited about it, you're going to be looking forward with great expectation and anticipation with that thing. So again, we get to choose if we want to hold on to anxiety or if we want to hold on to anticipation and expectation of the thing. So we can decide right now. And I'm going to ask you, who here is ready to believe in the power of change, to believe that overthinking doesn't have to control our life, overwhelm doesn't have to reign in our life, that things overpowering you don't have to exist in your life, but that you can become empowered to make the changes that keep you in that woke state? Put me in the chat. I see you already doing it, Jane and Jess. That's wonderful. Dildred said, yes, faith communicates directly with our brain-gut connections. That was beautifully said. Yes, it's emotionally driven. Let go of fear. Thank you, Charlotte. We've got to love ourselves, and love is part of that positive energy, right? That comes from us understanding that even when things are difficult, it's in that difficulty that we move forward, because if we don't, we get more of the same. We do what we do, we get more of those results. We make a change, we get some different results. I'm going to show you one more thing and then I'll turn it back over to Anissa. Let's see, can you see this image on my phone? I don't know how closely you can see that, but it's actually the cover of a book. And it's called How to Climb Mount Everest. Now, how many of you believe that if you read this book, you bought this book off of Amazon, this is an image off of Amazon, the back image, and I'll have the book next time, but the back image shows you all the things in the chapters, and I'll tell you what it says. It says, chapter 1, everything you need to know about Mount Everest. Chapter 2, why do people climb Mount Everest? Chapter 5, training and physical preparation. 6, mental challenges, and the route to get to the top is chapter 9. How many of you believe if you bought this book right now and it got to deliver to you on Prime in 2 days, that you can read it, you get the good information, and you could go climb Mount Everest? Put me in the chat if you believe that. Okay, I don't see any me's for climbing Mount Everest after reading the book. Nope, that's right, because information alone will not get you to where you want to go. If information alone got us what we needed, we would already be there. We would not even be sitting on a masterclass. Here's another thought. Have you ever seen a librarian drive in, let's see, a Rolls Royce? Right? I haven't, and I love librarians. Being a former university professor, they were my go-to. Like, I need a librarian in my life, and I have a librarian in my life right now. And I have friends who are librarians, but I have never seen a librarian drive a Rolls Royce. And the librarian has all the information, has access to all the information. So it takes more than the information to know how to create a lifestyle and enough income and make changes to get a Rolls Royce, or enough information to climb Mount Everest, or to change your health, or to move into bliss. The point is that the coaching that you talked about, Jess, is usually the missing link between the information and the application. You know, people say knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is where the power really is. Yes, yes, and yes. So when you think about it like that, Jess and everybody else, it becomes easier to take that leap to get the help, especially if you're going to get the person who holds you by the hand and guides you, so you don't have to figure out where the roadblocks are, where the potholes are, that guides you quickly. Who wants to get there quickly? I know I do. I do not want to take an extra hour of an extra day to learn how to fix my life and my health and to get to the results that I need. So that's what a coach, the right coach, does in helping you to overcome the decision of doubt and fear, or of faith and anticipation, because you can get to the results much more quickly. Yes.
Sorry, I have so many questions. Well, so I'm wondering, if we are working with a coach, how do you think that how should we approach our coach and say, hey, I want to maximize this. Like, I am invested in this. I really want to maximize the efficacy of this coaching. How do you think we should approach the coach?
So great question. And I'll answer it this way, and then we'll continue on with the system. And then you will see how this answer comes to life. If you are in the right program, you never have to ask that question. If you have to ask that question, you're probably not in the program that serves you best. So stay tuned. We'll share some more information with you because in this community, what is most important to us is that people get value and they get results. Results is at the center of what we do and why we show up. Okay? So Jess, if that's fair, I promise you'll get the answer to that question much more, in a much more expanded way. But I promise you that that's a huge part of the answer. Okay, awesome. So Anissa, let's hear some additional thoughts from you as we reveal some important things to our audience today.
Yes, I mean, everything you guys said is amazing. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing, Jess. I actually, like I said, I've been where you are before, and coming up, I'm about to show you a little deeper insight to my story and where I came from and how we can change that mindset. And we can come out of that place of, being broke-minded to woke-minded. And so I'm going to share a picture with you. Dr. Michelle, if you mind sharing the picture for me, and I'll explain to you guys what's going on.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Alrighty. So for 5 years, I was struggling with chronic stress and burnout. And I didn't have any real relief during that time. When I was battling depression and anxiety and going to the doctor, um, I was having so many other issues. Like I was going to my primary care doctor. He diagnosed me with psoriasis and irritable bowel syndrome and GERD and vertigo because I was having all these symptoms, upset stomach, dizziness, um, all these different symptoms that I didn't know where they were coming from. And he had me on 3 different medications at that time. And then I went to my psychiatrist and he diagnosed me with a ton of different diagnoses. And then he put me on 4 different medications at that time. So I'm taking all of these medications and I'm feeling sick inside of my own body because I hadn't woke up yet and I wasn't taking care of myself. And they never gave me a plan or the tools. So they wasn't the right coach for me. And so in that time, that's when I had to realize, I had to make a change because they're telling me, okay, you have to take this. And I said, no, that's not going to be my story. My story is going to be different. And so even then, like I was struggling to do a lot of things because of the weight and the other issues. Like it was hard for me to even walk a mile sometimes because I was having so much joint pain. And so I'm going to show you what happened once I was able to wake up and create a plan for myself with my coach's help. Okay, you can show the other picture, Dr. Michelle.
Okay, one moment, please. Let's keep going because I'm having some technical difficulties there,
Okay,
unless
no
you could
worries.
do it on your end.
Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think there's an issue with the link, maybe.
I think there might have been a question on whether or not we can make a call and speak with Anissa.
Yes, absolutely. So I love this group. We are moving in in the direction of let's get it done, right? Here's the anticipation. Um, how many of you are enjoying the masterclass so far? Yes, awesome, awesome. And yes, I saw someone helping to remind others that there is the button at the bottom of the dashboard that you can click and raise your digital hand so we can get your takeaways and your questions. And would it be okay with everyone if we shared with you how you can work with Anissa and the program that she has available? Would that be okay with everyone? If that is, go ahead and put yes in the chat. Okay, wonderful. Yes, yes. Oh, lots of yeses. We will, oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. We're so excited to help you change your life. And so very soon we will drop a link where you can book a call with Anissa and you'll hear more about how she can help you on this journey. In fact, Anissa, go ahead and start dropping that link and we will continue talking because if people are saying they're ready and they want to book a call, let's have you go ahead and get some time on her calendar and book a call. But stay tuned for the system that it's coming up that you can implement right now. And Anissa will take you by the hand and hold you and get you through that system by condensing the time it takes to do that. This is exciting. I'm so excited for each and every one of you who've said yes and you want to book a call. So, okay. Anissa, do you want to talk about this image that's on the screen?
Yes. So I just used this image to point out, you saw, the image before when I was really struggling, when I was in that state of mind where I was just taking what the doctor said and going with it, but I was actually hurting myself by not putting in the amount of time and care that I needed into my own body. And like I said, it started with that self-love. And it was important that Dr. Michelle mentioned, having the right coach, having a good coach, because that's what it did for me. And so as you can see here, I started implementing, different lifestyle practices. I work as hard as I can to get that 20 to 30 greens and vegetables as I can. And sometimes I have to supplement to get all that in. But the biggest point of this, this picture and everything here is what I want to show you, like the major impact working on my gut health had. So I went from 7 medications to no medications. I went from constant back pain and not being able to walk 1 mile to walking 4 miles. There are days when I walk 4 miles at the park now, and I love it. It's what keeps me, balanced. And all these symptoms that I had, low self-esteem, not loving myself, poor sleep, digestive issues, all of that went away. And if it didn't go away, it was significantly reduced to the point where it doesn't control my life anymore. I'm able to live my life the way it was intended to be lived and do that boldly and proudly. And I love it. And then now I'm showing other people how you can do the same thing. I'm on my journey too, just with the rest of you guys. And I've been in a dark place. So I think I know a thing or two about how we can, really help our gut, to come out of that place. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to get to dropping that link so you guys can know how you can work with me. And then I'm going to share a little bit more about my system that I use. Alrighty. Give me 1 second. Let me grab the link.
While Anissa's getting the link, I want to tell you a story about a really powerful man who I admire his story so much. He was BFFs with Napoleon Hill. Many of us know who Napoleon Hill is, right? So his name is W. Clement Stone. He was like a multi-millionaire. The man just was very wealthy. But he also had a heart for service, and he gave away about $265 million to charity. He was just an amazing human being, He attributed his self-worth, his self-wealth, taking care of himself as well as other people, to saying one phrase. And he said that one phrase over and over and over every day. He said this phrase probably 100 times a day. That phrase was, do it now. And so this group really excites me because you are ready to do it now. I've never seen a group like so eager and ready to do the thing now. But let me tell you about W. Clement Stone a little bit more. So he lived on the top floor of a high-rise apartment building in New York City. And he would make himself say this phrase 100 times a day before the elevator hit the first floor. And so W. Clement Stone would walk into the elevator, and as he got in there, he would be saying, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. In fact, he said that so much that he decided that people who worked for him, that they had to say the phrase too. And you'd find that when we find something that works, we want other people to engage in that because we know the impact it had for us and how it's changed our lives. And so he understood that the number one enemy of wealth in his case, but also the number one enemy of taking action now. The number one enemy of changing our lives is not just mindset. That's a part of the story, but the number one enemy is delay. Delay. When we delay from doing the thing that we have become convinced, we've become convicted that we should do. And again, we delay for the reasons I talked about before. We're grappling with that whole doubt and fear and versus faith. But when he realized that the number one enemy was delay, he said, okay, that's it. We're going to do it now. Now, here's the other interesting thing he said. This was many, many, many years ago, and it's still relevant today. He said, successful people make decisions quickly and change them very slowly. Now, unsuccessful people, and that's success in your health, your wealth, your family, whatever success is for you. Unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly and then change them often and quickly. So, are you going to procrastinate? Now, there's the saying that I really love, and that is procrastination is the assassination of your destination. Is your destination good health today? Is your destination reducing your burnout, your chronic stress, a life of overwhelm and burnout? Is your life one of procrastination and anxiety? Well, that can be a different story. But it's important in order to be successful that you do it now. And so when you are putting your hands up to say, I'm ready, where's the link? I'm ready. I want to make these changes in my life. I already want to applaud you for having that success mindset that says, I need to take action now. I am willing to override all the programming, all the things in my life to make that difference in my life now. And Anissa will tell you why this would make sense, why it's different from so many things out there that's just going to waste your time, your money, your energy, your desires, why this is different. So Anissa, I'll have you go ahead and share that system right now. Let's just go ahead and break it down for them. And then we'll get to what you are offering to help people on this journey so they can do it now.
Great. So I have a 5-step system called the Bliss system. It stands for breakthrough, learn, integrate, stabilize, and sustain. And this system targets 5 key aspects of our life. Like our movement, our social connections, our nutrition, so many things that it targets in our life. And so I'm just going to go through and just share a little bit about what's in each pillar of the system so you can get a great understanding. So the first pillar is breakthrough. And this pillar is very important because this is the time when we have a discovery or a huge development that takes place in our life that helps us lead to transformation. And in this pillar, what we do is we assess your health. We uncover the major stressors that are going on in your daily life. We identify daily habits that are detrimental to your health, recognizing triggers that cause emotional distress, setting individualized health goals for you, and then identifying the habits that do not align with those health goals. And then, of course, we work on mindset to help you prepare for those shifts because it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy at first. And then we're going to shift that environment so that you can limit all distractions that are going to hinder you from working towards those goals. And then the next pillar, learn, you're going to be able to identify and learn how inflammation impacts your health. And you're going to learn how to reduce that inflammation. You're going to learn how to implement an anti-inflammatory lifestyle the easy way, not the hard way. It's not going to take you forever to get it down pat. You're going to learn how to read food labels. because we weren't always taught the proper way to read food labels. And by reading food labels, you're going to be able to identify those hidden underlying inflammatory agents and substances that are found in the foods that we consume. And then you're also going to learn how to regulate your breathing during high stress moments. And you're also going to learn how to gently move your body so that we can reduce that inflammation by moving it out. And the third pillar, which is integrate, you're going to begin implementing what you've already learned. You're going to introduce anti-inflammatory foods into your diet, focusing on prebiotics and probiotics to repair your gut lining. We're going to incorporate quick 5-minute stress reduction exercises that you can do when you start your day and any time throughout the day. And then you're going to implement some new CBTI sleep practices that you're going to learn, and you'll be able to establish a better bedtime routine. Then the fourth pillar, stabilize. We're going to regulate your hormone levels because there's a lot going on under the scene with your hormones. Using nutrition and meal spacing, we're going to be able to regulate those hormones, help with some of that stress even that maybe some of you are experiencing. And then we're going to restore your digestive function through gut restoration. After that, we're going to regulate your nervous system using self-soothing tools. And for the fifth pillar, which is sustain, you're going to maintain these lifestyle changes that you've already made and adopt the 80-20 lifestyle. You're going to sustain from the highly inflammatory agents and substances. And you're going to maintain personal boundaries and continue setting goals. Lastly, you'll continue receiving accountability and support from a loving community of like-minded individuals. So that's the system. Now, does anybody want to hear, how I work with people and how we can implement this system into your life so we can get, some transformation happening? If you want to hear how I work with people, put yes in the chat. Okay, so what I have for you guys is called Balance and Bliss Experience. It's a 3-day stress reduction and self-care retreat. And this is, it's where you just take a step back, you get out of your environment. That's what I was talking about, that breakthrough, limiting all distractions, being in a place with like-minded individuals so that you can really learn and absorb the information and uncover, whatever is causing you to have those setbacks. This is where you're going to work with me and other health coaches in the field. You're going to work with professionals live in person to gain insights. And this retreat is happening January the 10th through the 12th, just in time for the new year. So we can get ready for 2025, set those new intentions, and really start the year off right. And it's going to take place at a beautiful, beautiful retreat center in Louisiana. And so I just want to tell you what you're going to be getting, with this retreat. So first, like I said, you're going to be in an supportive environment with like-minded individuals. We're going to focus on health and wellness, and there'll be experts there and other attendees that you'll be able to meet with and connect with and set those powerful goals. Then you're also going to learn and implement new lifestyle practices that are going to immediately spark a transformation in your life. So whenever you leave the retreat, it won't be just with information, but you'll also leave with some transformation. Okay, you're going to have a one-on-one session with me where we'll conduct an entire wellness session tailored just for you. And also you'll be able to do workshops and other activities with other health professionals in the field that'll be there facilitating their own workshops. And then you'll also get to participate in a superfood social. And so this is a time to really try some new foods and learn about the anti-inflammatory foods that you'll be able to go home and make. And then the best thing about what's going on is that all the meals will be chef prepared. Chef prepared anti-inflammatory meals that are easy to make and delicious. And then you're going to learn how to go home and recreate those meals. Doesn't that sound amazing? I've never been to anything like that myself, so I'm just so excited about this. And so everyone who registers and comes, they will receive a spa service included in their stay right there at the retreat center. And not only that, I know when everyone goes home, they're like, well, what am I going to do next? Because I had these amazing 3 days. I met all these beautiful people. We were all on the same, level playing field, and we were all encouraged and high level. What am I going to do when I get back home, when life hits again, and when I'm struggling and, trying to continue doing what I learned at this retreat? Well, I'm going to be there holding your hand the entire way. Because at the retreat, you're also going to get 12 weeks of live coaching with not only me, but also my health coach and a mental and a mindset coach. I'm sorry. So you'll get me, a health coach, and a mindset coach. We'll help you stay on track. We'll help you really shift that mindset and then really put in, the work that you need to get that inflammation down in your body and just make a complete transformation in your health. So now that you know everything that you need to start working on your gut health and come work with me at this retreat, like, how does that sound for everyone? If that sounds amazing to you, put transformation in the chat, because that is what's going to happen if you come to this retreat. You're going to have a total transformation and it's going to be amazing.
That's truly sounds amazing. I know I plan to be there. That is incredible. And so many people will change their lives. The beauty about what you're doing is that it's not a 6-month thing. It's not a long drawn out thing. It's immersion. Why? Because immersion causes conversion. If you're in the right program, the right coaching environment that takes you out of your regular environment and puts you into a very inspiring, motivating environment where all you do is focus for 3 days on the results, on doing the work and being guided by the right people to get you to make those lifestyle changes, you will see the difference. And then they continue to support you afterwards. So you stay sustained with the results. And this, I think this is a beautiful, beautiful solution to the problems that's out there that you've put together. And everybody who books a call with you, let's get you on her calendar. Anissa, check the calendar link, please. People are having trouble with it. So while I'm talking, you see if you can get the correct link in the chat, because people are ready to take the leap forward to book a call and have a conversation with you. Let's see what you need to have. Anissa will find out a little bit more about your specific situation and how what she's created will help you to get the results that you desire to have. It's a beautiful, immersive experience for 3 days that will change your life. Yes, indeed, transformation. And so you've been here with us for a good while. It was time well spent. There were a lot of aha moments, a lot of takeaways, a lot of transformation already happening right now. And then we're going to bid you farewell. We're going to say goodbye. And we are not going to be together when you're by yourself and talking to other people in your family or your friend group. And they might have a little bit different perspective because they have not experienced the transformation. So I want to share with you the story about giraffes and turtles. Giraffes and turtles are interesting in that they occupy the same space geographically, but they don't have the same worldview, right? So the giraffe eats from the top of the trees and the turtle moves amongst the grass. And this is what happens in life with all people. We eat at the level of our vision. So the giraffe is eaten at the level of his vision, and the turtle at the level of his vision or her vision. You put whatever in there. But when you are a giraffe and you're getting criticism from turtles, the turtles are simply reporting their view from the level that they're on. Nothing is wrong with the turtle. Nothing is wrong with the giraffe, but we have to understand that the turtle is just reporting and giving that perspective from the view of the level that they're on. So if you understand this, you won't be moved by what they're saying. It's not the same when somebody hasn't experienced the information, the conviction, and the transformation. We look at our behavior in the past and we know what we're going to do now and into the future, right? So they define you by who you are, but they don't necessarily understand who you are, having been transformed, having been exposed to more than just information. So today, what's the level of your conviction? What's the level of your vision? And know that that level of vision is exactly where you're going to eat from, where you're going to operate from, where you're going to understand the world from. So if there are any questions about the offer, we'll entertain those questions now. If you have any thoughts, we'll love to hear that as well. We're here with you for a while. If you need us to be here, we're not running anywhere. We just want to make sure we cover what you need and answer the questions, and then we'll send you off on your way. Anybody else? Okay. Or maybe you're busy booking a call. That's exactly what we'd love to see. And Anissa has a fast action bonus. So do it now. The fast action bonus, do you want to cover that again? And it's limited to a certain number of people. So
Yes.
let these wonderful folks know what they get when they move quickly to take your offer.
So for my fast acting bonus, the first 5 registrants who sign up, who book a call and sign up for the retreat, they will get 2 additional one-on-one sessions with me to go over their wellness and everything that we cover, like during the retreat. After you have the initial one-on-one at the retreat where we make that plan, and then you have 2 additional follow-ups, just one-on-one with me.
So it's like having her in your home, but virtually, because she'll be there to do a deep dive with you before and after the immersive experience. And I think that's really incredible. So let's go ahead and book the call. Let's see, someone said I have to prepare. Okay, all right, Jess, wonderful. We love having you here. Your energy was amazing. Your contribution was beautiful. So we thank you so much, Jess, for being here. I look forward to seeing you again, and all the best with your health. Okay. If there are no other questions and everybody got a hold of the link to book their session, and Anissa, I'll turn it back to you so we can wrap things up.
Yes, there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So, we've all been here today just learning these amazing things, holding space for each other. So I just invite you to come, join me, just book a call. If nothing else, we could just talk about how I might be able to serve you. And let's just go on this journey together. Like I said, I'm on my journey too. We do it together and we'll go farther on our healthcare journeys together. And before we wrap up this call,